ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name's Matt. This is Wakey Two Wheels, and it is that time of year again. My favourite time of year. I am not a big Christmas fan, I am not birthdays, stuff like that, just not bothered. Halloween though, I do love Halloween. And I have never done a video like this before, so this is going to be the first one. This is going to be like a tester for you, because I want to maybe change the way I do videos. So, without further ado, welcome to the Wakey Two Wheels Halloween special. Roll the music. So here we are, just going down into Whitby. I can see the sea over there, that's beautiful, but I think it's got a bit dark. What's happened to the sun? Oh well, I found somewhere to park up. Show you around a bit. The ghost story of Mary Clark, the girl on fire. In autumn of 1917, Whitby was a quiet coastal town, its narrow lanes echoing with the footsteps of fishermen and the scent of coal smoke. On Grape Lane, a young girl named Mary Clark was sent on an errand to a local bakery. She was just a child, innocent, curious, and unaware that a simple task would make the end of her life and the beginning of a legend. Mary was sent to the bakery to fetch bread for the family. Inside the bakery, tragedy struck. Mary leaned too close to the oven, and her hair caught fire. A sudden violent blaze that engulfed her head and shoulders. Panicked and in agony, she ran screaming into the street. Her body ablaze, the flames engulfing her entire body. Locals tried to help, but the burns were too severe. Mary died shortly after, her final moments etched into the memory of the street. Since that day, Grape Lane has been the site of a lot of chilling encounters. Residents and visitors alike have reported seeing a ghostly figure of the girl. Her hair aflame, wandering the cobbles at night, her face is pale, her eyes hollow, and her presence often accompanied by the sound of howling dogs, though no dogs are ever seen. Some say the flames flicker in the silence, others claim to hear a whispering, and a few have felt sudden gusts of heat, as if the fire still burns. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Mary Clark's story is a reminder of how tragedy can leave a mark, not just in history, but on the very streets we walk.
The Phantom Coach and the Headless Horses. They say death doesn't always come quietly. In Whitby, it arrives with thunder. The coach, black as pitch, drawn by 4 headless horses. Its wheels never touch the ground, its driver never speaks. It appears without warning, always at night, always pulling up to the bottom of the 199 steps towards St Mary's Church. Some say it carries the soul of a noble family condemned to relive their final journey. Others say it's a harbinger, a warning, a message from the other side. The legend began centuries ago, when a wealthy landowner died under mysterious circumstances. His family, desperate to bury him before dawn, hired a coach to race through the town. But as the horses reached the steps, lightning struck. The coach burst into flames. The driver found headless. The horses vanished. Since then, the coach has returned. Not every night, not every year, but always when something is about to change. Witnesses describe the sound first, hooves pounding like war drums. Then the fog thickens, a lantern glows, and then the coach appears, gliding up the steps as if pulled by memory itself. Some say if you see it, you must never speak of it. Others say you must follow it to learn what it came to tell. But most of them just run. And if you're riding through Whitby at night, if the fog curls around your wheels, if the wind dies and the air grows still, listen. Because if you hear hooves in the night, don't wait around to see what they're pulling.
Constance de Beverley, the Screaming Nun. She was called Constance de Beverley, the nun of Whitby Abbey. Bound by vows, silence, chastity and obedience. But love doesn't respect vows. It's said that she fell in love with a knight, honourable perhaps, or perhaps not. Their meetings were secret, their letters hidden beneath chapel stones. For months she lived 2 lives, one of devotion and one of desire. Until she was betrayed. Some say the knight left her, couldn't handle the dishonour. Others say the Abbey discovered her secret. Either way, punishment came swiftly. She wasn't just condemned to death, but to be erased. Bricked alive within the Abbey walls, no last rites, no burial, just stone, silence, and the slow passage of time. They say she screamed for hours, days, until her voice gave out, until the walls swallowed her whole. But Whitby remembers. On stormy nights when the wind howls through the ruins,
her sobs return, faint, desperate, echoing through the arches. Some claim they've seen her face behind stone, pale, hollow eyes, mouth open, eternal cry. Others say she walks the Abbey grounds, clutching a blood-stained letter, searching for the knight who never came. And if you stand alone in the chapel ruins, if you listen closely, you might hear her whisper your name. They say Whitby spirits never rest, so if you ride past the Abbey at night, beware. Some ghosts don't stay behind. Some follow you home. The lighthouse keeper of Whitby. Whitby remembers its dead, not just in tombstones or tales, but in the wind and in the light. He was the keeper, a quiet man. Lived alone near the harbour, where the gulls cried and the sea never slept. Each night he walked the pier, climbed the spiral staircase, lit the flame and watched the sea. Then came the night, a tempest unlike any before. The wind roared like a beast. The sea rose, hungry and wild. The beacon failed. A ship was lost. He raced from his cottage, through the rain, toward the tower, but he never made it. They found him next morning, curled beneath the tower, face turned to the sea, eyes open, but the light was burning. Since then, strange things have happened. The weather turns, fishermen speak of a figure, running, climbing, always reaching for his lantern. Some say he's a warning to us. Others believe he's trapped, relighting the flame that never stays lit. And if you walk the pier alone, if the wind carries a whisper that feels like a name, look up, because Whitby's ghosts don't just linger. Sometimes they guide the way. Sadly, this is the end of our collection of little tales. I have to get out of Whitby now. God knows what I'll be dragging home with me. But thank you everybody for watching. Bye for now. And happy Halloween.